the Gospel of Thomas, or the secret sayings of Jesus. These are the secret sayings that the living Jesus spoke, and Judas Thomas the twin recorded. He said, "Whoever finds the interpretation of these sayings will not taste death." Jesus said, "Let one who seeks not stop seeking until one finds. When one finds, one will be disturbed. When one is disturbed, one will be amazed and will reign over all." Jesus said, "If your leaders say to you, 'Behold, the kingdom is in the sky,' then the birds in the sky will get there before you. And if they say to you, 'It is in the sea,' then the fish will get there before you. Rather, the kingdom is inside you and outside you. When you know yourselves, then you will be known, and will understand that you are children of the living Father. But if you do not know yourselves, then you live in poverty and embody poverty." Jesus said, "The older person many days old will not hesitate to ask a little child 7 days old about the realm of life, and this person will live. For many of the first will be last, and will become a single one." Jesus said, "Know what is within your sight, and what is hidden from you will become clear. For there is nothing hidden that will not be revealed." His disciples asked him and said, "Do you want us to fast? How shall we pray? Shall we give to charity? What food may we eat?" Jesus said, "Do not lie or do what you dislike, since all things are clear before heaven. For there is nothing hidden that will not be revealed, and nothing covered that will not be uncovered." Jesus said, "Blessed is the lion that the human eats, so that the lion becomes human. Cursed is the human that the lion eats, so that the lion becomes human." He said, "A person is like a wise fisher who cast a net into the sea and drew it up from the sea full of little fish. Among them the wise fisher discovered a fine big fish. So the fisher threw all the little fish back into the sea, and with no hesitation kept the big fish. Whoever has ears to hear ought to listen." Jesus said, "Behold, the sower went out, took a handful of seeds and scattered them. Some fell on the road, and the birds came and ate them. Others fell on rock, and they did not take root in the soil or produce any heads of grain. Others fell among thorns, and the thorns choked the seeds, and worms consumed them. Still others fell on good soil, and brought forth a good crop. It yielded 60 per measure and 120 per measure." Jesus said, "I have thrown fire on the world, and behold, I am guarding it until it is ablaze." Jesus said, "This heaven will pass away, and the heaven above it will pass away. The dead are not alive, and the living will not die. During the days when you ate what is dead, you made it alive. When you become enlightened, what will you do? On the day when you were one, you became two. But when you became two, what will you do?" The disciples said to Jesus, "We know you will leave us. Who is going to be our leader then?" Jesus said to them, "No matter where you reside, you are to go to James the Just, for whose sake heaven and earth came into being." Jesus said to his disciples, "Compare me with someone and tell me whom I am like." Simon Peter said to him, "You are like a just angel." Matthew said to him, "You are like a wise philosopher." Thomas said to him, "Teacher, my mouth is utterly unable to say whom you are like." Jesus said, "I am not your teacher. You have become intoxicated because you have drunk from the bubbling spring that I have tended." And he took Thomas and withdrew, and told him 3 things. When Thomas came back to his friends, they asked him, "What did Jesus tell you?" Thomas said to them, "If I tell you even one of the things he told me, you will pick up rocks and stone me. Then fire will come forth from the rocks and devour you." Jesus said to them, "If you fast, you will bring sin upon yourselves. If you pray, you will be condemned. If you give to charity, you will harm your spirits. When you go into any country and wander from place to place, and the people receive you, eat what they serve you, and heal their sick. For what goes into your mouth will not contaminate you. Rather, what comes out of your mouth will contaminate you." Jesus said, "When you see one who was not born of a woman, bow down and worship. That is your Father." Jesus said, "Perhaps people think that I have come to bring peace to the world. They do not know that I have come to bring conflict to the earth, fire, sword, war. For 5 people will be in a house. It will be 3 against 2, and 2 against 3, father against son, and son against father, and they will stand alone." Jesus said, "I shall give you what no eye has seen, what no ear has heard, what no hand has touched, and what has never arisen in a human mind." The disciples said to Jesus, "Tell us about the end." Jesus said, "Have you already discovered the beginning, that now you can seek after the end? For where the beginning is, the end will be. Blessed is one who stands at the beginning. That one will know the end and will not taste death." Jesus said, "Blessed is one who came to life before coming to life. If you become my disciples and hearken to my sayings, these stones will serve you. For there are 5 trees in paradise for you. They do not change, summer or winter, and their lives do not drop. Whoever knows about them will not taste death." The disciples said to Jesus, "Tell us what the kingdom of heaven is like." He said to them, "It is like a mustard seed, the tiniest of all seeds. But when it falls on prepared soil, it grows into a large plant and shelters the birds of the sky." Mary said to Jesus, "Whom are your disciples like?" He said, "They are like little children living in a field that is not theirs. When the owners of the field come, they will say, 'Give our field back to us.' The children will take off their clothes in the presence of the owners, and thus give the field back and return it to them. For this reason I say, if the owner of a house knows that a thief is coming, the owner will be on guard before the thief arrives, and will not let the thief break into the house of the estate and steal the possessions. As for you, then, be on guard against the world. Gird yourselves and prepare for action, so that the robbers will find no way to prevail against you, for the trouble you expect will come. Let there be among you a person who understands. When the crop ripened, a reaper came quickly with sickle in hand and harvested it. Whoever has ears to hear ought to listen. Jesus saw some babies nursing. He said to his disciples, "These nursing babies are like those who enter the kingdom." They said to him, "Then shall we enter the kingdom as babies?" Jesus said to them, "When you make the two into one, when you make the inner like the outer, and the outer like the inner, and the upper like the lower, when you make male and female into a single one, so that the male will not be male and the female will not be female, when you make eyes replacing an eye, a hand replacing a hand, a foot replacing a foot, and an image replacing an image, then you will enter the kingdom." Jesus said, "I shall choose you, one from 1,000, and two from 10,000, and these will stand as a single one." His disciples said, "Show us the place where you are, for we must seek it." He said to them, "Whoever has ears ought to listen. There is light within an enlightened person, and it shines on the whole world. If the light does not shine, it is dark." Jesus said, "Love your companion like your life. Protect such a one like the pupil of your eye." Jesus said, "You see the speck that is in your companion's eye, but you do not see the beam that is in your own eye. When you take the beam out of your own eye, then you will see well enough to take the speck out of your companion's eye. If you do not fast from the world, you will not find the kingdom. If you do not keep the Sabbath a Sabbath, you will not see the Father." Jesus said, "I took my stand in the middle of the world, and in the flesh I appeared to people. I found them all drunk, and I did not find any of them thirsty. My soul ached for these human children because they are blind of heart and do not see that they came into the world empty, and they also seek to depart from the world empty. But now they are drunk. When they become sober, then they will repent." Jesus said, "If the flesh came into being because of spirit, it is amazing. But if spirit came into being because of the body, it is even more amazing. I am amazed, though, at how such great wealth has settled into such poverty." Jesus said, "Where there are 3 deities, they are divine. Where there are 2 or 1, I am present." Jesus said, "A prophet is not popular in the hometown. A doctor does not heal family and friends." Jesus said, "A city founded and fortified upon a hill can neither fall nor be hidden." Jesus said, "Preach from your roofs what you will hear in your ear. For no one lights a lamp and then puts it under a basket, nor does one put it in a hidden corner. Rather, one puts it on a stand so that all who come and go will see its light." Jesus said, "If one blind person leads another blind person, both of them will fall into a hole." Jesus said, "One cannot enter the house of a strong person and take it by force without tying the owner's hands. Then one can loot the house." Jesus said, "Do not worry from morning to evening and from evening to morning about what you will wear. His disciples said, "When will you appear to us, and when shall we see you?" Jesus said, "When you strip and are not embarrassed, and you take your clothes and throw them down under your feet like little children and trample them, then you will see the child of the living one, and you will not be afraid." Jesus said, "Often you have desired to hear these sayings that I am telling you, and you have no one else from whom to hear them. There will be days you will seek me, but will not find me." Jesus said, "The Pharisees and the scribes have taken the keys to knowledge and have hidden them. They have not entered, nor have they allowed those who want to enter to do so. As for you, be as clever as snakes and as innocent as doves." Jesus said, "A grapevine has been planted away from the Father. Since it is not healthy, it will be pulled up by its roots and destroyed." Jesus said, "Whoever has something in hand will be given more. Whoever has nothing will be deprived of even the tiny bit that person has." Jesus said, "Be wanderers." His disciples said to him, "Who are you to say these things to us? You do not know who I am from what I say to you. Instead, you have become like the Jews. Either they love the tree but hate its fruit, or they love the fruit but hate the tree." Jesus said, "Whoever blasphemes against the Father will be forgiven, and whoever blasphemes against the child will be forgiven. But whoever blasphemes against the Holy Spirit will not be forgiven, either on earth or in heaven." Jesus said, "Grapes are not picked from thorn bushes, nor are figs gathered from thistles, for such plants yield no fruit. A good person brings forth good from the storehouse, while a bad person brings forth evil from the corrupt storehouse in the heart, and says evil things. For from the abundance of the heart this person brings forth evil." Jesus said, "From Adam to John the Baptist, among those born of women, no one is so much greater than John the Baptist that one need not bow the head before John. Yet I have said that whoever among you becomes like a child will know the kingdom and will become greater than John." Jesus said, "A person cannot mount 2 horses or bend 2 bows, and a servant cannot serve 2 lords. That servant would respect one and offend the other. No person drinks aged wine and immediately wants to drink new wine. New wine is not poured into aged wineskins, for the skins may break, and the aged wine is not poured into new wineskins, for the wine may spoil. An old patch is not sewn into a new piece of clothing, for there would be a rip." Jesus said, "If you make peace with each other in a single house, they will say to the mountain, 'Move,' and it will move." Jesus said, "Blessed are those who are alone and chosen. You will find the kingdom. For you have come from it, and you will return there again." Jesus said, "If some say to you, 'Where have you come from?' say to them, 'We have come from the light.' Where the light came into being by itself, established itself, and appeared in an image of light. If they say to you, 'Are you the light?' say, 'We are its children, and we are the chosen of the living Father.' If they ask you, what is the evidence of your Father in you? Tell them, it is motion and rest. His disciples said to him, when will the final rest for the dead take place, and when will the new world come? He said to them, what you look for has already come, but you do not know it. His disciples said to him, 24 prophets have spoken in Israel, and they all spoke of you. He said to them, you have ignored the living one who is with you, and have spoken only of the dead. His disciples said to him, is circumcision useful or not? He said to them, if it were useful, a father would produce children already circumcised from their mother. Rather, the true spiritual circumcision is useful in every respect. Jesus said, blessed are the poor, yours is the kingdom of heaven. Jesus said, whoever does not hate father and mother cannot be my disciple. And whoever does not hate brothers and sisters and bear the cross as I do will not be worthy of me. Jesus said, whoever has come to know the world has discovered a carcass. And whoever has discovered a carcass is worth more than the world. Jesus said, the kingdom of the Father is like a person who had a good seed. An enemy came at night and sowed weeds among the good seed. The farmer did not let the workers pull up the weeds, but said to them, I fear that you will go to pull up the weeds, but will pull up the wheat along with them. For at the harvest time the weeds will be conspicuous and will be pulled up and burned. Jesus said, blessed is one who has suffered. That one has found life. Jesus said, look to the living one as long as you live, that you may not die and then try to see the living one, but be unable to see. They saw a Samaritan carrying a lamb and going to Judea. He said to his disciples, why is he carrying the lamb around? They said to him, so that he may kill it and eat it. He said to them, he will not eat it while it is alive, but only after it has been killed and it has become a carcass. They said, it cannot happen any other way. He said to them, so also with you, seek a place of rest for yourselves, that you may not become a carcass and be eaten. Jesus said, two will relax on a couch. One will die, one will live. Salome said, who are you, sir? You sat on my couch and ate from my table as if you are somebody. Jesus said to her, I am from the one who was whole. I was granted my Father's estate. Salome said, I am your disciple. And Jesus said, for this reason I say, one who is whole will be filled with light, but one who is fragmented will be filled with darkness. Jesus said, I disclose my mysteries to those who are worthy of my mysteries. Do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. Jesus said, there was a rich farmer who had a great deal of money. The farmer said, I shall invest my money so that I may sow, reap, plant, and fill my storehouses with produce. Then I shall have everything. These were the plans, but that very night the farmer died. Whoever has ears ought to listen. Jesus said, a certain person was entertaining guests. When dinner was ready, the host sent a servant to invite the guests. The servant went to the first one and said, "My lord invites you." The guest said, "Some merchants owe me money, and they are coming to me tonight. I must go to give instructions to them. Please excuse me from dinner." The servant went to another guest and said, "My lord invites you." The guest said, "I have bought a house, and I have been called away for the day. I have no time." The servant went to another guest and said, "My lord invites you." The guest said, "My friend is to be married, and I must arrange the dinner, so I shall not be able to come. Please excuse me from dinner." The servant went to yet another guest and said, "My lord invites you." The guest said, "I have bought a farm, and I am going to collect the rent, so I shall not be able to come. Please excuse me." The servant returned and said to the Lord, "Those whom you invited to dinner have asked to be excused." The Lord said to the servant, "Go out on the streets and bring back whomever you find to eat my dinner. Business people and merchants will not enter the realm of my Father." He said, "There was a good person who owned a vineyard. The owner rented it to some farmers, that the farmers might work in it, and the owner might collect the profits from them. The owner sent a servant that the farmers might turn over the profits from the vineyard, but instead they seized, beat, and almost killed the servant. So the servant returned and told the Lord. The Lord said, "Perhaps the servant did not know them." The owner sent another servant, and the farmers beat that one too. Then the Lord sent his child and said, "Perhaps they will show my child some respect." But since the farmers knew that the child was the heir to the vineyard, they seized and killed the child. Whoever has ears ought to listen. Jesus said, "Show me the stone the builders rejected. That is the cornerstone." Jesus said, "Whoever knows everything but lacks within, lacks everything." Jesus said, "Blessed are you when you are hated and persecuted, and no one will discover the place where you have been persecuted." Jesus said, "Blessed are those who have been persecuted in their hearts. They truly know the Father. Blessed are those who are hungry, for the stomach of the famished will be filled." Jesus said, "If you bring forth what is within you, what you have will save you. If you do not have that within you, what you do not have within you will kill you." Jesus said, "I shall destroy this house, and no one will be able to rebuild it." A person said to him, "Tell my relatives to divide my father's property with me." He said, "Sir, who made me a divider?" He turned to his disciples and said to them, "I am not a divider, am I?" Jesus said, "The harvest is large, but the workers are few. So beg the Lord to send out workers to the harvest." Someone said, "Lord, many are around the well, but no one is in the well." Jesus said, "Many are standing by the door, but those who are alone will enter the wedding chamber." Jesus said, "The kingdom of the Father is like a merchant who had a supply of merchandise and then found a pearl. Now the merchant was smart. He sold the merchandise and bought that single pearl for himself. So also with you, seek after the treasure that is unfailing, that is abiding, where no moth comes to consume and no worm destroys." Jesus said, I am the light that is over all things. I am all. All came forth from me, and all attained to me. Split a piece of wood, and I am there. Pick up a stone, and you will find me there. Jesus said, Why have you come out to the countryside, to see grass blown by the wind, and to see a person dressed in rich clothing like your rulers and your aristocrats? They are dressed in rich clothing, but they cannot understand truth. A woman in the crowd said to him, Blessed are the womb that bore you, and the breasts that fed you. And he said to her, Blessed are those who have heard the word of the Father, and have truly kept it. For the time will come when you will say, Blessed are the womb that has not conceived, and the breasts that have not produced milk. Jesus said, Whoever has come to know the world has discovered the body, and whoever has discovered the body is worth more than the world. Jesus said, Let one who is wealthy reign, and let one who has power renounce it. Jesus said, Whoever is close to me is close to the fire, and whoever is far from me is far from the kingdom. Jesus said, Images are visible to people, but the light within is hidden in the Father's image of light. He will reveal himself, but his image is hidden by his light. Jesus said, When you see a likeness of yourself, you are happy. But when you see your images that came into being before you, and that neither die nor become visible, how much you will be able to tolerate. Jesus said, Adam came from great power and great wealth, but he was not worthy of you. For if he had been worthy, he would not have tasted death. Jesus said, Foxes have dens and birds have nests, but the child of humanity has no place to lay his head and rest. Jesus said, Miserable is the body that depends on another body, and miserable is the soul that depends on the two of them. Jesus said, The angels and the prophets will come to you and give you what is yours. You, in turn, give them what you have and say to yourselves, When will they come and take what is theirs? Jesus said, Why do you wash the outside of the cup? Do you not understand that the one who made the inside also made the outside? Jesus said, Come to me, for my yoke is easy and my lordship is gentle, and you will find rest for yourselves. They said to him, Tell us who you are so we can believe in you. He said to them, You study the face of the sky and the earth, but you have not come to know the one who is before you, and you do not know how to study this moment. Jesus said, Seek, and you will find. In the past, I did not answer all your questions. Now I am willing to answer them, but you no longer ask. Do not give what is holy to dogs, for they may drop it on a manure pile. Do not throw pearls to swine, for they may make them worthless. Jesus said, Whoever seeks will find, and whoever knocks will be let in. Jesus said, "If you have money, do not lend it at interest. Rather, give it to someone who will not return it." Jesus said, "The kingdom of the Father is like a woman who took a little yeast, hid it in dough, and made large loaves of bread. Whoever has ears ought to listen." Jesus said, "The kingdom of the Father is like a woman who was carrying a jar full of flour. While she was walking on a road far from home, the handle of the jar broke, and the flour spilled behind her on the road. She did not know it. She had not noticed the problem. When she reached her house, she put the jar down and discovered that it was empty." Jesus said, "The kingdom of the Father is like someone who wanted to put a powerful person to death. He drew his sword at home and thrust it into a wall to find out whether his hand would go through it. Then he killed the powerful one." The disciples said to him, "Your brothers and your mother are standing outside." And he said to them, "Those here who do the will of my Father are my brothers and my mother. They will enter the kingdom of my Father." They showed Jesus a gold coin and said to him, "Caesar's people demand that we pay taxes." He said to them, "Give Caesar what is Caesar's. Give God what is God. Give me what is mine." Whoever does not hate father and mother as I do cannot be my disciple, and whoever does not love father and mother as I do cannot be my disciple. For my mother, but my true mother, gave me life. Jesus said, "Woe to the Pharisees, for they are like a dog sleeping in the food trough of cows. The dog neither eats nor lets the cows eat." Jesus said, "Blessed is the person who knows where the robbers will enter. Then the person may arise, bring the estate together, and prepare for action before the robbers break in." They said to him, "Come, let us pray today and fast." Jesus said, "What sin have I committed, or how have I failed? Rather, when the bridegroom leaves the wedding chamber, then let people fast and pray." Jesus said, "Whoever recognizes father and mother will be called the child of a whore." Jesus said, "When you make the two into one, you will become children of humanity. And when you say, 'Mountain, move,' it will move." Jesus said, "The kingdom is like a shepherd who had 100 sheep. One of them, the biggest, wandered away. The shepherd left the 99 and searched for that one until it was found. After going to such trouble, the shepherd said to the sheep, 'I love you more than the 99. Jesus said, "Whoever drinks from my mouth will be like me, and I shall be that person, and what is hidden will be revealed to that one." Jesus said, "The kingdom is like a person who had a treasure hidden in a field but did not know it. At death, the owner left the field to his child. The child did not know about the treasure either, but took over the field and sold it. The buyer went plowing and discovered the treasure and began to lend money at interest to whomever he pleased." Jesus said, "Let one who finds the world and becomes wealthy renounce the world." Jesus said, "The heavens and the earth will roll up in front of you, but whoever is living on the living one will not see death nor fear. Jesus says, whoever finds self is worth more than the world. Jesus said, woe to the flesh that depends on the soul. Woe to the soul that depends on the flesh. His disciples said to him, when will the kingdom come? It will not come by looking for it, nor will it do to say, behold over there, or behold over there. Rather, the kingdom of the Father is spread out on the earth, but people do not see it. Simon Peter said to them, let Mary leave us, because women are not worthy of life. Jesus said, behold, I shall guide her so as to make her male, that she too may become a living spirit like you men. For every woman who makes herself male will enter the kingdom of heaven.